So I'm absolutely cream crackered. This whole lockdown has got me working non-stop until Thursday, so my schedule's going to be pretty hectic, but there was no way I was going to miss the team selection video for this game week. What's up guys, hope you're having a great Monday and welcome to the team selection video for Game Week 8 here on the FPL Today YouTube channel. The YouTube channel for us fantasy football managers that think about the game way too much but try and have as much fun with it as possible. So if you're hyped for Game Week 8 and hopefully you had a great Game Week 7, if that is the case, hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell. All three of those things really help out the channel and show your support. And let's get straight into it. So Game Week 7, we went in with relatively high hopes because our players did have some decent fixtures, and fortunately for us, we had a lot of our players return, even though the game week started out looking like it could be pretty dire. Not Eric Dyer, but pretty dire. Because Sice didn't start. Neither did Mitchell from Crystal Palace. So that was automatically two of my defenders not playing, and they wouldn't come in off the bench, so I only could rely on the two defenders I had left. And if any of them didn't play, then I'd be down to 10 men. Then there was, of course, also the news that Werner wasn't starting on Saturday, but fortunately, we managed to navigate all the stormy weather, and we started off the game week with a bang, with Podence getting 8 points. And as you can see, he wasn't the only one to return for me, as we had Lamptey managing tonight to get a goal, Salah getting a goal from a penalty, and of course, Grealish helping Aston Villa come back from the depths to just fall short of recovering and getting a draw. Either way, despite some of the results out there for these players, I can't be anything but happy with 4 players returning 8 points or more, and of course Salah as my captain getting those 8 points doubled to 16. And to be honest, the patience I've had with Lamptey and Podence has really paid off, and of course lots of people were saying maybe Aston Villa players weren't the go-to after their failure at Leeds, but Grealish returned the faith I had in him with another good performance. Grealish actually came out of his game with 6 shots on goal, 2 of them being on target, 5 shots coming from inside the box with 1 big chance and an expected goals of 0.53, with 2 key passes and 2 big chances created. Salah only had 3 shots, 2 on target, 1 being a big chance, all 3 coming from inside the box, but with a higher expected goals at 0.96 and 1 key pass. And Podence very similar to Salah with 3 shots on goal, 2 on target, 3 from inside the box, 1 big chance, expected goals lower at 0.62 and 1 key pass. Meanwhile, Lamptey had 1 shot on goal which was on target and from inside the box, resulting in a goal despite it having an XG of 0.13. So overall, very happy with these 4 players getting the points in for this game week. But it didn't end there, as we did have more points coming from our 3 strikers, Timo Werner, who didn't start but came on because Pulisic picked up an injury during warm-up, Kane managing to get some points as well against Brighton Hove Albion, and Calvert-Lewin also returning in a Newcastle game where Everton managed to lose 2-1, and Callum Wilson would have been a better choice, but Calvert-Lewin back to his goal-scoring ways, even if it is only the solitary goal. Calvert-Lewin actually went back to some decent numbers in this game, with 5 shots on goal, 2 on target, 4 from inside the box, 1 big chance and expected goals at 0.53, with 3 key passes played. So Calvert-Lewin doing better in this game than he did in the game against Southampton by a long shot. Kane only getting 2 shots on goal, 1 on target, 2 from inside the box with 2 big chances and expected goals at 0.99, which was the highest in this game, but that probably had something to do with the penalty as well. And Timo Werner managing to play the full 90 minutes, getting 2 shots on goal, both of those on target and inside the box with 1 big chance, expected goals at 0.63 and key passes at 2. So the fact that we actually had 7 players returning points did make up for the fact that we didn't really do very well with the other 4 players in this side. Martinez, of course, conceding 4 goals against Southampton. Bit worried about Aston Villa's defence now compared to how confident I was with Martinez as a pick a couple of weeks ago. Taylor came in off the bench like Lamptey, and to be fair, I wasn't expecting Taylor to get any points in this one, which is why I benched him initially, but fortunately he's a starter. He did come in to add that 1 point to the whole game week score. Trent still on very thin water. I was really hopeful for Trent to return something in this one, after getting assists in the Champs League and looking like he could have had assists in the previous game week, but he only had 1 shot on goal and 1 key pass played in this game against West Ham. West Ham proving their defensive solidarity at the moment. And Son didn't get any returns either, but I can't be too upset with that with the amount of points he has been scoring recently. If we look at the bench, we've got the likes of Steer, Mitchell, Burke and Seiss. All didn't play, so all got 0 points. Let's not dwell on that for too long. As we go to what we're actually now ranked, we managed to get 74 points this game week. Of course, the rank will change because there's still 2 more games to play on Monday. But the game week average at the moment, according to livefpl.net, check out their website if you want live FPL rankings, is 44. Now, we do have overall points ending up on 416, with an overall rank now at 462,691st. So even though that will probably drop a little bit with the games that are coming up, I'm still very happy with this game week. So we look at the player at risk now for this side, and it is still the man that I love to talk about in this section of the show, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now with Man City away and the Liverpool defence with Alisson back but Fabinho and Van Dijk missing, Trent is a worry. I was really hoping for better numbers and at least some sort of return from him in this previous game week just gone. Clean sheets, like have already been mentioned previously, are a rarity, although they seem to be coming back a little bit now compared to the first 5 game weeks of the season. Funds could potentially be used better elsewhere if he doesn't start to perform. We have the options of the likes of Ben Chilwell, who look very good at the moment, Reguilon, who also managed to pick up an assist for Spurs, and other options that could come in that position. However, he's now starting to do enough that potentially I'm going to be silly enough to hold him, with underlying stats on the rise. Maybe not in this game week, but they are on the rise in general. And Seiss and Mitchell now being issues in my defence as well, I may need to focus my transfers elsewhere before I look at Trent, which is a shame because nearly everyone else in the game has already got rid of him. So we now look at my Game Week 8 team selection, what you've come to this video for. But before we do that, here's a quick video from partners of the channel, Fantasy Football Hub. All the data on FPL Today is taken from the Fantasy Football Hub, with tools such as player comparison to choose the best players out of 2 options, Opta-Stats tables to see who could be hitting form soon and who will be amongst the goals, and a fixture ticker so you know who has not just the form but also the fixtures to match, and so much more, like articles and coverage of other fantasy football games. Ask yourself why you haven't joined the Fantasy Football Hub. It's just £2 a month to unlock your FPL potential. Back to the Game Week 8 team selection, and we start off with the goalkeepers and defence as usual. And we can see that we have Martinez in goal against Arsenal away. Now, that's not the best fixture, but Arsenal don't seem like they score tons of goals, so hopefully Martinez can return to his clean sheet ways or at least get some save points. In defence, we have Trent as well, who is of course at risk of being transferred, Lamptey, who could potentially have an injury coming out of the Spurs game, and Seiss, of course, who didn't start. If we then take into account Taylor, who isn't my preferred first choice option for my defence, and also the likes of Mitchell, who now may have lost his place in the Crystal Palace side, the defence is a really big issue for me. However, we are hopeful that the rest of the team isn't an issue for me and that we can actually focus our transfers on trying to fix our defence. The unfortunate news for the midfield, though, is there are some games that don't particularly look that easy for my players. Grealish with Arsenal away, like his teammate Martinez, and Salah with Man City away aren't the best of fixtures. Take into account also Podence playing Leicester away. Only really Son has what I would call a favourable fixture with West Bromwich Albion, and that game is still away. In fact, if you look at it, apart from Lamptey at the moment, most of my starting 11 have away fixtures. Then we get to the front line, and at least we've got 2 strikers with home games. We do have Kane, of course, joining Son with West Bromwich Albion away, probably the last favourable fixture of theirs before their fixtures turn. And then Calvert-Lewin with Man United at home. Maybe a good fixture, maybe not. You never know with this Man United side, but hopefully a lot of the creativity is going to start returning to this Everton side and they can start scoring some more goals. And then Werner somehow is still in this side, especially when I was very worried about having to change him when he wasn't in the starting 11 against Burnley, but now he has Sheffield United at home. Will he get rested now against Sheffield United because he didn't get that rest against Burnley? That is a slight concern for me as well. But Werner against Sheffield United is a good fixture, and is probably the only player I would consider putting the captain armband on other than the two Spurs lads. And then the bench, we have Taylor with Brighton Hove Albion away, Burke with Chelsea away, and Mitchell with Leeds at home. None of those fixtures particularly appealing to me, although potentially we could try and play Taylor, especially with the fact that we have issues in our defence. Taylor might be the option we go with, and it's hopeful that maybe they can keep Brighton Hove Albion out, but Burnley do seem like a side that kind of benefit from having their fans in attendance, so I'm not too confident in his ability to get a clean sheet in that game. So for this game week 8, unfortunately, my team doesn't look particularly tasty, which is a bit of concern because we've just had a good rise and we want to try and keep that forward momentum going. But defence clearly is the issue, with the fact that Seiss, Lamptey and Mitchell are all concerns. So we look at our potential transfers, and as you can see, Kilman is the first player we're considering because he'd be a straight swap for Seiss, and the reason I had Seiss is I did like Wolves' defence and their fixtures. Now it is Leicester away, which isn't a great fixture to be fair, but he is cheap enough to come in for the likes of Mitchell. Now he could just come straight in for Seiss and I could keep Mitchell on the bench potentially and have funds to spend elsewhere, but defence does seem a concern of mine. So other players in consideration are Kurt Zouma, purely because Ben Chilwell, unless I sell Trent Alexander-Arnold, is probably out of my price range, whereas Zouma I could actually still bring in. Now, Zouma has had some decent attacking numbers and it comes in at 5.2 million, a similar price range to Seiss. And he has managed to have in the last 6 game weeks 5 shots on goal, 4 on target, 5 from inside the box, 1 big chance with expected goals at 0.93. And his fact is he's scored 2 goals with 1 key pass, but we're not worried about key passes. It's that goal threat in a defence that is starting to look a lot more organised. So we are hopeful for Zouma to be able to return some points if we do bring him in. We're also considering someone we got out of our side, and that's Carl Walker-Peters, with a decent fixture in Game Week 8 where I feel like I need better fixtures in my starting 11. He's managed to, in the last 6 game weeks, have 3 shots on goal, 2 on target, 2 from inside the box with 2 key passes, and Southampton's defence has looked better. I've not seen the Aston Villa game yet, which is a concern because they did ship in 3 there, but they generally have improved as a defence after their absolute destruction at the hands of Tottenham Hotspurs. And then the final pick is slightly more expensive than Zouma, but it is Cancelo. With Man City's fixtures about to turn, yes, Liverpool isn't the ideal fixture to bring him in at, but he has in the last 6 game weeks managed 2 shots on goal with 9 key passes played and 1 big chance created. I do like the looks of Cancelo in this Man City setup. And that is it for this video. Hopefully next week I can start talking about some attacking transfers instead of continually looking at my defence, which hasn't been the greatest this season so far. If you have enjoyed this video, again, please do hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All 3 of those things really help the channel out. And check out Fantasy Football Hub if you want access to the same data that I have for these videos. With that being said, please look after yourselves with lockdown just around the corner. Hopefully you guys have a support system around you, and if you don't, there's the comments down below, and my DMs on Twitter at JNOFPL are open. I'm happy to talk to all of you. I'm going to have the time to anyway, and hopefully we'll bring you lots of content to help you get through this lockdown. With all that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.